Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got some pre-1961 Apba Bats League. We got the Chicago White Sox traveling to Detroit to take on the Tigers. And leading off for the visiting Chicago White Sox, playing shortstop Luke Appling, batting second, playing second Eddie Collins, batting third, playing right field Bibb Falk, batting fourth, playing center field Carl Reynolds, batting fifth, playing first base Earl Shilley, batting sixth, playing left field Happy Flesh, batting seventh, playing third base Buck Weaver, batting eighth behind the plate Sherman Lawler, and on the mound doing the pitching and batting ninth, Jim Scott. And for the hometown Detroit Tigers, leading off playing left field Ty Cobb, batting second playing center field Harry Hellman, batting third playing right field Al Kaline, batting fourth playing first base Hank Greenberg, batting fifth playing second base Charlie Gehringer, batting sixth playing third base Ray Boone, batting seventh playing shortstop Harvey Kuhn, batting eighth on the catching Johnny Blasser, and batting ninth and on the mound for the Tigers is George Mullen. Let's get down here to the field and get this game started. And leading off for the visiting Chicago White Sox is Luke Appling, batting .258, no homers and 5 RBIs, going up against George Mullen. This is George's second start. He's got no record with a 3.86 ERA. Here's the pitch to Luke. And that's going to be a base on balls. Appling trots on down to first. And that'll bring up Mr. Eddie Collins now. Eddie is batting a .129, no homers and no RBIs. Here's the pitch to Eddie, and that's going to be back-to-back walks. And George can't find the strike zone, and it's first and second, and nobody out. And that'll bring up Bibb Falk. And Bibb's batting .286 with 1 homer and 4 RBIs. Here's the pitch to Bibb. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Ty Cobb in left field for out number 1. And that'll bring up Mr. Reynolds now. And Reynolds is batting .314, 3 homers and 5 RBIs. And that's going to be against the righty, 20 and 8. Yep. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And 34, that'll be fielding column 1. And that's going to be the old 6-4-3 double play. And that'll end the inning. And the walks doesn't hurt George. As the best friend for a pitcher, that ground ball double play gets him out of the inning. We got the White Sox nothing. The Tigers coming up. You got Cobb, Hellman, and Kaline due up here. Ty Cobb batting .310 on the year with a homer and 4 RBIs. And Jim Scott will be on the mound, his second appearance. He's 0-1 with an 8.1 ERA. Here's the pitch to Cobb. And that's going to be against the righty, a 20. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Happy and left. That'll be out number 1, 1 up and 1 down. Brings up Hellman now. And Harry's batting .167. No homers and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Reynolds in center field. 2 fly balls, 2 outs. And I'll put the wrong spot there. We'll change that. Put that back out the left. Make that go to center. And we'll have out number 2. And that brings up Al Kaline now with nobody on. And 2 outs. Kaline batting .250 with a homer and 4 RBIs. And that ball is high. How far is that ball going to travel, folks? And that ball is out of here. That's an upper decker out. K-Line puts the Tigers up by 1 here in the bottom of the first. K-Line with his second home run of the year. It's Tigers 1, Chicago nothing. We got Hank Greenberg up now, batting .238. No homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Scott now with 2 outs is in trouble. Already gave up a homer, just walked Greenberg. And up to the plate steps Charlie Gehringer. And Charlie's batting .250 with no homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be well hit by Charlie. Charlie isn't sorry. And that ball is going to be hit out in the right field. And he's going to run for a while. He's headed for third. He's a brown-eyed, handsome man. And again, a 2-out hit drives in another. And the Tigers are up 2-0. A triple for Charlie. Ray Boone up to the plate now, batting $136 with a homer and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Happy. And that'll end the inning like it started. But in between, the Tigers scored 2, 1 on the K-Line home run. We get to the top of the second. It's 2-0 Detroit. And you can see these teams' record. Chicago is 3-5. They're batting .220. On base percentage of .320. Slugging of .337 and an OPS of .657. And the Tigers are 3-3, batting .213, on base percentage of .307, slugging .370, and an OPS of .676. We got Schilling, Happy, and Weaver due up here. And Earl is 0 for 3 on the year. No homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Charlie at second. Over to Hank for out number 1. Happy Flesh is up now. And Happy is batting .235. No homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a rare play. 55 on a 40. And that's going to be hit out to center. We'll have to re-roll some dice here. And a 34. Out to center, that should be fielding column 2, I would think. And it is. And that's going to be a single in the center. The batter's going to go to third on an error and out trying to score. So that's going to be a single. It's going to be an E8. And the batter's going to get thrown out trying to score. And now there's 2 outs for Buck Weaver. And Weaver is batting .333 on the year. And Buck's got no homers and 1 RBI as Beatles joins us here. Got to go to work. Ain't that terrible? Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And here's the pitch to Buck Weaver. And that ball is well hit. Buck Weaver. And how big was that throw home by Hellman now? Buck Weaver drives one out into the gap in right field. And Philip Reynolds joins us. So a 2-out double. And again, bad base running by Happy, gets thrown out at the plate. Or this could have been a 2-1 game. Now Weaver down at second. Still 2 outs. And we got the tank up. Sherm Lohr, and Sherm's batting .188. No homers and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that'll be the inning. And the White Sox strand 1. We go to the bottom of the second. It's 2-0. Detroit. We got Harvey do up Blasser, and then George up. And Harvey Coons batting .217, no homers and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And one of the good fielding shortstops, Luke's going to make an error. That's going to be an E6. And Harvey gets aboard here. And you can see that White Sox have scored 32 runs, have hit 6 homers, stolen 2 bases, been caught twice. The Tigers have scored 23 runs, 3 homers, been stolen 2 bases, and been caught 3 times. Now you got Johnny Blasser up, batting .278, no homers and an RBI. And that's going to be a base on balls. Blasser walks on down to first. Harvey over to second. And George Mullin's up now. See, George is probably going to lay down a bunt and try to get both of these guys in the scoring position. George is 0 for 2 on the season. Here's the bunt by George. And that's going to be a nice bunt down the third base. That'll get the runners over. The only play will be over to first with Collins covering. And now you got second and third and only 1 down. And back to the top of the order in Ty Cobb. Can Cobb deliver here? Ty Cobb's 0 for 1 today. He flew out to his counterpart in left field his first time up. Let's see if Cobb can deliver with Harvey at third, Blasser at second. Not much speed on the pads, that's for sure. And that's going to be a ground ball. No, fly ball out the left. So fly ball out the left. 56 on the 3, probably fielding column 2. Yep. And that'll be a re-roll of dice here. A 6. That'll be a 53. Like I say, not a lot of speed, but they'll probably send him here. .25. They're going to send him. See if they're going to send a runner down to second also. And no, Blasser's going to stay at second. So a 25, a 51 or lower, he'll be safe at home. 51 or lower. And he throws him out by a country mile. Happy, nice throw. Double play will end the inning, folks. Fly ball out the left and the runner's thrown out at home. And that'll do it here in the bottom of the second. We go to the top of the third. We got Scott, Appling, and Collins due up here in the second. And Jim Scott's 0 for 2 on the season. See if Jim can get something started here, trailing by 2. Because we don't need no stinking DH. And that's going to be a ground ball back to George. He fires over to first. And that'll be out number 1. And Luke Appling's up now. And Luke, he walked his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And Charlie's got it, fires over the Hank for out number 2. 2 quick outs. Brings up Eddie Collins now. And Collins walked his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. 46 on an 8. And that's going to be fielding column 1. And that's going to be a nice play down there by Harvey. He picks it, fires over to first for out number 3. 1, 2, 3 goes the White Sox. See Chicago's schedule coming up. They got one more game against Detroit, and then they go on the road to Baltimore, and then they come home to play the Senators. So now you got, leading off will be Hellman. followed by Kaline and Greenberg. And Hellman, he flew out to center his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. So the leadoff batter gets a board here for the Tigers, already up 2-0. And here's Al Kaline. He's already homered in this game. Can he do it again? Here's the pitch to Kaline. And that ball isn't homered, but that ball is hit into, let's see here, 21. That ball is hit down the second. Will they be able to turn two? I don't think so. Nope, they'll get the lead runner, and that'll be it as Kaline beats the throw. So now we got one out and Kaline down at first for Hank Greenberg. And Greenberg is walked his first time up. And that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes on Hank. See if he can take advantage of this batter's count. And he walks the hard way in Apba with 2 dice rolls. So we got first and second. Scott with a little bit of control problem. This has forced walk of the game. Here's Charlie. See if Charlie can deliver here. First and second and only 1 out. He tripled and drove in a run his last time up. Here's the pitch to him. And that's going to be against the 29. That's going to be popped up down the short. Appling's got it out in shallow left for out number 2. So it's up to Boone here to get something done with 2 outs. Boone flew out the left his first time up as Clinton Parks joins us here. Here's the pitch to Boone. And that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes on Boone. Like I say, Scott's struggling with control. And he's going to walk the hard way in Apple on 2 dice rolls. So he has walked the bases loaded here. Scott with his 5th walk of the game. Bases are juiced for Harvey. See if Harvey can deliver. He reached on an error his first time up. And that's going to be against the 21. That is going to be a ground ball down the third. And he'll just step on the bag himself for the put out. And that'll end the inning. So the Tigers leave the bases loaded. We go to the top of the 4th. It's still 2-0 Detroit. You got Falk, Reynolds, and Schilling due up as Ken Castro joins us here. Yeah, nice crew in here today, ain't it, Ken? Oh, Falk, he flew out the left his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball back to George. Fires over to Hank for out number 1. And you see Detroit's schedule coming up. They got one more game here against the White Sox in Detroit. Then they go on the road to Washington. And then come back home and play some games against the Orioles. Reynolds is up. He grounded into a double play his last time up. That ball's hit down to Boone. He's got it. Fires over to first for out number 2. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I like their lineup. Got some pop to it. Got some pop to that lineup. And here's Earl. Earl grounded out the second his first time up. And that's going to be another ground ball. This one's down the second also. And that'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 goes the Sox. To the bottom of the 4th we go. And we got due up here. We got Blasser, Mullin, and then back to the top of the order in Cobb. Johnny walked his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball back to Scott. Over to Earl at first for out number 1. And George Mullin up now. George had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. See if they can make him pay. We don't need no stinking DH. The pitcher gets aboard here. Here comes Ty Cobb. Cobb's 0 for 2. He's flown out to the left both times. And that's going to be out in front of the plate. And actually, that's going to be behind home plate. That's in foul territory as Sherm makes the catch for out number 2. And here we got Mr. Hellman up now. He's 0 for 1. He flew out the center and walked. And that's going to be a 22. And that's going to be a base hit, infield hit for Hellman. And now we got first and second and 2 outs. And up to the plate now steps Mr. K-Line. See if K-Line can do something. He's already homered in this game. He's 1 for 2. He's reached on the fielder's choice his other time up. And that ball is high. That ball is far. How deep is it going to go, folks? That is the question. And that ball is out of here again. Al K-Line with 2 homers in this game. And it is now 5-0. Al K-Line with 4 RBIs on the game, folks. Makes this a 5-0 ball game. Hank Greenberg's up. He's walked both times. And here's the pitch to Hank. And that's going to be a 21 and an 8. What kind of out's that going to be? It's going to be a fly ball out the right field. Bibbs got room out there. That'll win the inning. But the Tigers score 3 and take a 5-0 lead. We got Happy, Weaver, and Sherm due up here in the top of the 5th. Happy's 1 for 1 with a single. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Ty Cobb for out number 1. And here comes Buck Weaver now. And Buck's doubled his first time up. And that's going to be an infield hit. Weaver beats out the hit. And we got a runner down at first with 1 out for Sherm Lohr. And Sherm, he is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Hellman in center for out number 2. And do we pitch hit here for Scott? That is the question. We're going to let Scott bat. It's 2 outs. See if Scott can do something. We don't need no stinking DH. Here's the pitch to Scott. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. And that's going to be a error on the pitcher. And Weaver's going to get the 3rd on the throwing error. So we got 1st and 3rd and 2 outs. So George puts himself in a bad situation here. We go back to the top of the order and Luke Appling. And Luke is 0 for 1. He is grounded out and walked. And he gets a hold of this one. He's going to make George pay for that throwing error. Age is just the number. You got that right. See what Luke can do. That's going to be hit in the deep center field. And that's going to score 2 runs. And it's going to be a 5-2 ball game. Luke Appling with a 2 RBI double. Just like that, it's a 3-run ball game. Eddie Collins up now with a runner down at second. All these runs is unearned thanks to George screwing the pooch with that throwing there. And Eddie Collins is 0 for 1. He's walked and grounded out the short. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Cobb to end the inning. But the White Sox are supposed to score 2, so hold on a second. Supposed to score 2. Redo that. Scott was supposed to score from first. There we go. And then the fly out the left. Oh, it is. It's a great set, ain't it, Ken? And then the fly ball out to Cobb to end the inning. And like I say, the White Sox scored 2 on the Appling double and cut this lead to 3. And we got Bib Falk due up here. No, we got Gehringer due up, followed by Boone and Harvey. And Charlie is 1 for 2 with an RBI triple and popped up the short. And that ball's well hit, trying to get that run right back. And that's going to be a double into the gap in right field. So Charlie's aboard here with a leadoff double. And now you got Boone up. And Boone is 0 for 1. He's flown out the left and walked. Got a runner down there at second with good speed in Charlie. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Boone strikes out for out number 1. That's the first strikeout of the game for Scott. Harvey Coons up now, reached on an air and popped up to third. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Reynolds in center. And just like that, now there's 2 down. It's up to Johnny Blasser to get the job done. Johnny's walked and grounded out to the pitcher. And that's going to be a ground ball out in front of the plate. A 53 on a 9. Probably fielding column 1. Barely fielding column 2. And that's going to be a drop strike, and he's going to throw down the first to get him. So back-to-back strikeouts, and the leadoff double goes nowhere. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 5-2 Detroit. And we got Falk, Reynolds, and Shilly due up here. Bibbs 0 for 2. He's flown out and grounded out. Damn, Ken. Oh, God. That's going to be a swing and a miss. Bibbs strikes out for out number 1. And that brings up Carl Reynolds now. And Reynolds is 0 for 2. He's grounded out the short into a 4-3 double play and grounded out the third. And that's going to be an infield hit. No play this time for Harvey down there at short. He holds on to the ball. Reynolds is on with a 1-out single. And that brings up Earl Schilling. And Earl is grounded out twice to second. Here's the pitch to Earl. And that's going to be a tailor-made double play, ground ball down to Harvey. Pitcher's best friend, 6-4-3 double play. That'll end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 3-run lead for Detroit. And we got Mullen. Then back to the top of the order in Cobb and Hellman. They'd like to get him through this inning. He's due up 4th, Scott is. So George is walked and had a sacrifice bunt. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And that'll be out number 1. Collins makes the play. Oh, I don't blame you, Ken. Don't blame you a bit. And here's Ty Cobb. He's 0 for 3 today. He's flown out the left twice and popped up in foul territory to the catcher. And that's going to be another fly ball out to Happy and left. So he's done the hat trick. 3 fly balls to left, 3 outs. That brings up Hellman now. Hellman's 1 for 2. He's walked. flown out the center, singled and came around the score his last time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Harry's down at first with 2 outs. And up to the plate now is Al Kaline, the man of the hour. He is 2 for 3 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs in this game. And that's going to be against the 21, a 9. And that's going to be another hit. And Kaline puts on the Jets, folks. Beats out an infield hit. He's having a heck of a game, Kaline is. So now we got first and second and 2 outs for Greenberg. Can Hank give the Tigers some more insurance runs here? Hank's 0 for 1. He's walked twice and flown out the right. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. And Buck Weaver's a good third baseman, but I think he might screw the pooch here, folks. 5 and a 63. And that's barely going to be fielding column 3. And that's going to be a throwing error on Weaver. And that's going to score a run, and Kaline's going to get down the third. And Greenberg will stay at first. So that's going to be an E5. And both runners advance 2 bases. And just like that, it is now 6-2. And you got first and third. And 2 outs. The defense is letting them down here. 2 errors. And you got Charlie up. He is doubled and tripled, looking for a homer and a single to get the cycle here. And that's going to end the inning. That ball is hit back to the mound. Scott's got it. Fires over to first. But the Tigers score an unearned run. We go to the top of the 7th. Leading by 4. White Sox need to get something started here. You got Happy, Weaver, and Sherman due up here. Happy's 1 for 2. He singled and flew out the left. Here's the pitch to him. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Flesh gets down to first. And that brings up Buck Weaver now. White Sox need base runners down by 4. Buck's having a good game for the White Sox. He's 2 for 2. He's doubled, singled, and came around to score his last time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And they'll get the lead runner. But Weaver's too fast. They can't turn 2 on that. So Weaver's down at first now with 1 out for Sherm. And Sherm is 0 for 2. He struck out and flew out the center. And that's going to be a 17 on an 8. And that's going to be a pop-up down the... No, he strikes Sherm out. That's a strikeout. Sherm's out of there for out number 2. And we'll have a pitch hitter here for Scott. See who's going to come off the bench here and pitch hit with a runner down at first. We're going to go with Old Nelly or I think we're going with Old Nelly Fox. Old Nelly. It's going to come off the bench here. Oh, that'd be cool, Ken. So where's Old Nelly Fox at? There he is. And Fox is batting .500. He's 1 for 2 on the season. See if he can deliver here with a runner on first, trailing by 4. And that's going to be against the righty. A 19. And that's going to be a fly ball out the Cobb. That'll end the inning. And the White Sox strand 1. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 6-2 Detroit. Let's see who's going to come out of the bullpen here. Got some righties coming up. See who hasn't pitched in a while here for the White Sox. Lions. Probably going to be Lions coming out of the bullpen here. And that's who's going to be. Ted Lyons is going to come out of the bullpen. Trying to keep this a 4-run game. He'll be facing Boone, Kuhn, and Blasser. Boone's 0 for 2. He's flown out the left, walked and struck out. This is Ted's 3rd appearance. He has no record and hasn't given up a run yet. So here's the pitch to Ray. And that's going to be a rare play. 39 and a 43. 39 and a 43. And that's going to be ball 1. Here's the 1-0 count to Boone. And that's going to be a 16. And that's going to be a fly ball in the center field. Reynolds makes a nice play, robs Boone of a base hit. 1 down here. And here's old Harvey. And Harvey's 0 for 3. He's reached on an error, popped up the 3rd, and flew out the center. And that's going to be well hit. See what Harvey does here, folks. And that's going to be driven into the right field. That'll be a 1-out double. Harvey standing down at second for Blasser. See if Blasser can drive him in here and increase this lead to 7 to 2. Johnny's 0 for 2. He's walked, grounded out, and struck out. And that's going to be against the righty. Make him a 15. And that's going to be a single in the left field. And Harvey, with his speed, is going to stop at 3rd. He's not going nowhere. And George is pitching a 5-hitter. Let's see what kind of bullpen these Tigers got. They don't have much of a bullpen. They're going to let George. He's going to try button Blasser down the 2nd. Harvey's going to stay put, and it's not going to be a squeeze. So here's the pitch to George. And that's going to be 1st and 3rd. And they hit him. They hit George. He squares around the bunt. They're saying he was trying to bunt at the ball. Ump says he pulled the bat back. And that loads the bases for Ty Cobb here, folks. Bases juiced. See if George is all right. He's staying in the game. See if there'll be any retaliation. Cobb's up. Cobb's having a rough game. He's 0 for 4. He's flown out the left 3 times and fouled out to the catcher. And that's going to be against the righty. That'll be a 15. That's going to be a fly ball out to center field. And Reynolds is out there. Is not very good. A 55. Harvey's going to try to score because Reynolds doesn't have much of an arm, even though Harvey doesn't have much speed. And he'll score with no throw, a matter of fact. Let's see if Blasser can get down the 3rd. 46. Blasser don't have much speed either. And a 26 or lower, he's tagging up. Let's see here. 26, a 52 or lower. He'll make it in the 3rd. And they throw him out. So the run scores. We got a fly ball in the center field. Runner on 3rd's going to score. A runner on second is going to be thrown out at third. So nice plays out there by the outfield, but it's now a 7-2 game. So we go to the top of the eighth. We got the top of the order due up here for the White Sox, trailing by 5 now. You got Luke Appling, Collins, and Bibb Falk. And Appling's 1 for 2 with an RBI, 2 RBI double. Here's the pitch to Luke. And that's going to be a rare play, a 39 and a 61. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And a 46. That should be still fielding column 1. Nope, that's going to be, he's only an 8. That'll be fielding column number 2. That's going to be a single. And Luke Appling beats out the infield hit down the short. And just like that, the White Sox got the leadoff batter aboard now. See if they can do something here, trailing by 5. Eddie Collins is up. He's 0 for 2. Walked, grounded out, and flown out. And that's going to be a base on balls. And that's going to get the bullpen up now. Got first and second, nobody out with a 5-run lead. And Bibb's up. And Bibb is 0 for 3. He's flown out, grounded out, and struck out. Here's the pitch to Falk. And that's going to be a foul ball near the dugout. Blasser takes the mask off, makes the catch for out number 1. And up to the plate now is Reynolds. And Reynolds is 1 for 3. He's grounded out to second, third, and singled his last time up. And that's going to be a fly ball out the K line. And Luke's going to stay at second for out number 2. So it's up to Shilly. And Earl, he is 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out the second twice and short. Here's the pitch to Earl. And that's going to be a base on balls. George has walked, the base is loaded. And Happy might be his last batter one way or the other. Base is juiced. And it's a 7-2 ball game. So no matter what, if something bad happens here, he'll leave the game with the lead. Happy is 1 for 2. He is singled. He has flown out the left, and he has walked. And that'll be a 40. The infield. Let's see what the infield is for him. So 4, 13, 17, 25, 33, 34. That'll be fielding column 2. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. George has got it. He throws over to first. And that'll end the inning. He gets out of the mess with nobody scoring. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 7-2. Detroit. We got Hellman, K-Line, and Greenberg due up. Hellman is 1 for 2. He's walked twice in this game. As Ron joins us here today. And here's the pitch to Harry. And that's going to be a ground ball down right in front of the plate. And Sherm gets up, fires down the first for out number 1. Nice play by Sherm. 1 down now. Here's the man now, K-Line. 2 homers on the day, 4 RBIs. Here's the pitch to K-Line. And that's going to be a it's going to be a pop-up down the second for out number 2. So now there's 2 outs for Greenberg. And Hank's 0 for 2. He's walked twice though today and reached on an error. So he's been on base 3 times. And that's going to be 16, a fly ball out to center field. Reynolds makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. We go to the top of the ninth. It's 7-2, and I think that's going to be it for George after struggling in that eighth inning. So let's see who's going to come in here. You got a switch hitter in Weaver, a righty, and then a pitch hitter. Let's see here. And I think Eddie's going to come out here and pitch. Try to. Do we want that? Do they got a lefty? Whitehill might come out to pitch instead. When was the last time Whitehill turned these guys around and make them bat from the right side? He just pitched. Ed hasn't pitched. They got another lefty. Nope. How about Frank? Frank hasn't pitched in a while. Laurie. Frank's going to come out and pitch. So Frank's going to come out and pitch. Try to keep this a 7-2 ball game here in the ninth. And Frank has pitched in 3 games. He's 0-1 with a 5.4 ERA. Like I say, he'll have Weaver, Laurel, and a pitch hitter for the Lions due up here. Buck is 2 for 3 with a double and a single. And he also reached base his 3rd time up on a fielder's choice. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Cobb. And that'll be out number 1. And that brings up Sherman. And Sherm is 0 for 3. He struck out twice and flew out the center. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Harvey. And that's going to be an E6. Harvey messes that one all up but doesn't throw it away. So now the White Sox got a runner down at 3rd. We'll have a pitch hitter here for Ted. See who's going to come off the bench here and pitch hit. And Mr. Harry Hopper. Harry's going to come off the bench with a runner down at 1st and 1 out. Excuse me, Harry's 3 for 6 with 3 RBIs on the year. And that's going to be a fly ball again out to Cobb. So that'll be out number 2. 2 fly balls, 2 outs. And the runner's still down at 1st. Back to the top of the order we go. Luke Appling, who's got the 2 RBI double. He's driven in the 2 runs for the White Sox. Can he do it again here, folks? And nope, that's going to be a ground ball down the 3rd. He'll fire over to 1st to end this ball game. And the Tigers win 7-2. Look at the box score. And the Tigers, 7 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors. The White Sox, 2 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. For the White Sox, Luke Appling was the only real offense. 2 for 4 with the 2 RBIs. Buck Weaver was 2 for 4. And the White Sox couldn't get the job done with runners in scoring position. 1 for 7. Left 8 men on base. And the man of the game is old Al Kaline, 3 for 4 with 2 homers, drove in 4 runs. Tigers were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 men on base. And Jim Scott, he picks up the loss. He goes to 0-2. 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Walked 7, struck out 2, and gave up the 2 home runs to Kaline. Lyons comes in, pitches 2 innings, gives up 2 hits, and a run. George Mullen gets a first victory of the year. He goes 8 innings, 6 hits, 2 unearned runs. But remember, the 2 unearned runs was because of his throwing error. And he walked 5, struck out 3. Frank comes in the ninth, pitches 1 inning, and gets the job done. Take a look here at the standings. Yeah, it wasn't a bad game, was it? Yeah, not a bad game. Got to see some offense from Al Kaline. George pitched a good game. Started to struggle there in that 8th inning. And now look at the standings here. And the Yankees are a half a game over the Indians. The Tigers are a game back along with the Orioles and Senators. Red Sox are a half a game back. White Sox are 3 games back, and the A's are 4. Pittsburgh's a half a game lead over the Braves. The Reds, Giants, and Cubs are a game back. Dodgers, Cardinals, and Phillies are a half a game back. Ted Williams leading with a .500 batting average in the American League. Ruth and Lou with 5 home runs. Ted Williams with 13 RBIs. National League, you got Ken's Phillies with Ed Delaney leading with a .400 batting average. Hank Aaron with 4 homers and 13 RBIs. And you got Bob Shockey with a 0.6 ERA leading the American League. You got 4 pitchers tied with 2 wins, 3 pitchers tied with 2 saves. And you got Bucky Waters with an 0.56 ERA. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers tied with 2 wins in the National League, and 2 pitchers tied with 2 saves in the National League. Lou Gehrig leading in the MVP voting in the American League. Jack Chesbro leading in the Best Pitcher Award. Ed Delaney, he's leading in the MVP for the National League. And Best Pitcher leader right now is Vance for the Dodgers. And the next game is going to be the last game of this series. You're going to have Pierce going up against Donovan in game number 2 of this series. I want to thank Ken Castro, Ron, and Clinton for coming in here today. I believe that was everybody, and on Philip Reynolds for stopping by today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders, and on your way out of Detroit, hit that like button and leave a comment. Until next time, y'all have a great day and take care.